interesting, I think, between these two teams, right? ECSTATIC in day one were boundary pushing constantly. You had Queenix, you have Cabby, you have Manx really getting aggressive, trying to get into angles and push the boundaries. And we saw it yesterday against Sonoris, just with not the same success. You know, maybe a little bit more rattled. We had players walking smokes at inopportune times and things along that nature. And it definitely did not work against the Polish team. On this matchup, you're going to have Result doing much the same. He loves to boundary push. He loves to find that flank. He loves to get a cheeky angle. So curious to see where that interaction is going to come through. And if we might have a lot of clashes. In towards mid is this one. Manx gets the spot and drops. Pressure on towards the A side of the map, but mid under full control. forZe have a lot of options here, and they are going to test in towards A. Two players to find. The first one taken out of play. Bomb going to be planted almost certainly. And Manx just trying to hold back for this retake to set up. Result gets nothing. And so the retake is on.
Oh, the flank from Jerry. Well, he can't get down without making noise. If Manx backs any further out, be in big trouble. But Manx, no idea. Too soon. Kragan in next. The two flanking players as well. But all the frags are flying the way of forZe. It's beautiful in the end. And a very clean pistol round from the Jerry boys.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, not much to critique about that one. Beautifully done. Mid control into A control. It's very much the way you want to roll. You get that first pick on site without any casualties. Even if you exchange 1 for 1 there, you're still in a strong position. And then clearing out the mid aggression and the canals push. What could you want?
It felt quite static from ECSTATIC, actually. They had that aggressive kind of B lean, and it left mid very open. And even after losing it, we didn't move super fast. They opted for the heavy flank rather than going back through temple and trying to cover off. And it did leave those A players a little bit exposed. And equally, the A players didn't push into A main, or maybe they had an opportunity. So perhaps there were chances to bolster the defense or react into a more solid setup. But on this round, ECSTATIC have decided we're loading up mid, 2 in there. And given where the bomb is posturing, I dare say they want to B-split this in the end.
Seems like it. A little bit of a cheeky push from Cabby. Tries to get the space in towards canals, and he's checked by shalfey. A second player will go out as well. Smoke going to be deployed, but this is going to soften up the B hold in a major way. It's just one man in cave. Kragan's trying to get an SMG, but that's not exactly going to be a difference maker here. Molotovs, diligence shown by forZe. They don't want to get caught by the 50-50 angle, so they'll deploy mollies to do so. Now they'll move in en masse. And that kill's critical. If Kraken drops there, this round's already over. As it is, still going to be a tough ask. But as they cross the scout, here's the opportunity. A tag, not a frag. For Salazar means... well, the pistols and the SMGs got to get some work in, and they're going to do no such thing.
Great clean up from zorte. I think a little bit nerve-wracking, though. Once you lose the player in towards cave, you lose as the T the kind of the opportunity to have sightlines across so much of the bomb site. And they're going for a choke point. Good thing they had all the nades to help them get through B main. Keep it nice and clean in the end. And yeah, when we're talking about what went wrong yesterday for ECSTATIC, might even be what we saw there from Cabby might be a decent example of. It kind of feels like sometimes they're getting a bit aggressive without a rhyme or reason when, they don't necessarily have the information to justify pushes or swings. And we just like to see a little bit more logic, I guess, in the mix when we're making decisions.
Yeah, here's the push. They get a kill.
Save some for Jerry, come on.
Jerry.
There we go.
Let me get his cleanup. His $600 reduce. Gotta leave at least 1 for the IGL. It's like a sign of respect, you know? It's like tipping properly after a nice meal.
We don't do
Toss an eco to your IGL.
In the UK, you don't even give a tip. They just put it on the bill.
That's the right way to do it. Every time, occasionally you find a place like that in the US where they just include it. I went out for a happy hour last night, and they included it. I was so happy because I don't have to do math. Very happy.
Happy hour on food as well as drinks.
Yeah.
That's a really happy hour.
There's a. Did we take you to Cedar Point? I don't think we did. There's a place not too distant from me that does a really banging happy hour. I had frog's legs last night. Delicious.
Channeling your inner forZe.
Mm-hmm. Around here, it's more Cajun, which is also Francais, but Francais like this. Cabby. Get himself one. Jerry's got this position here by the rugs. When the smoke fades, Cabby might be exposed, but he's just going to press forward. Can't get caught from behind if you just keep pressing forward. Well, you still can, but Cabby will at least get a second. So man advantage here for ECSTATIC. This aggressive push has worked out beautifully. Queenix thought about following it up, but says, you know what? Yeah, not feeling it. Not feeling it. It's the right
Just live
read.
with the advantage.
Yeah, you
Once
got the
those-
man advantage.
Once
Fade
those
back
smokes
in.
are faded, you're so exposed, aren't you, to kind of that upper area and then the stairs that go into canals.
Full
little
belt of
bit too
utility
much.
too, Alan.
Queenix has got to do work here. He's not in a good place to get off nades either. Behind the cake here in the middle.
1 for 1. Should still keep this possible, but Zorte is going to make it difficult in towards mid. He can't give him the fights. He's too good on this AWP. He's controlling this rotation, but Kragan, nice little bit of movement to make him wary. Now a clutch for Krad. And that's going to make things a little bit easier. This hold from heaven effective. Kraken has to clutch, and he's done exactly that. Much needed early round win here for ECSTATIC. What's going on?
Oh,
Kragan.
Lord, I thought he DC'd.
I got really nervous.
Oh.
No, just time for fist bumps on land. I don't know if they're in the same place, but the defuse is going to come through, and it is going to be ECSTATIC on the board, albeit in a costly round.
After this kill from Zorte, you really thought, okay, they're throwing it away. They've saw they can cut the rotates, but the Krag and Jules were all too good. He really saved them. Really saved them in that round. But as mentioned, it was quite expensive. And whilst the Canals aggression was nice, it was proactive. Mid was very open, and that did kind of get exploited by forZe in the end. So see if ECSTATIC choose to alter how they approach mid this round. Looks like 2 in defense. Salazar over. He's got Manx to help. And they want to shut this area down early.
Krad gets an opener here. That's nice. That really softens up the B take as well. Look at this. Queenix is going to have to rotate all the way over. He's normally their A anchor, and they've just lost Manx getting aggressive here. It's a disaster. This is a disaster. Plain and simple for ECSTATIC. They just don't have the numbers to respond to this. They've tried to get aggressive around the map, and so many of these kills come down to the last shot, the last bullet. But if you don't get them over the line, at some point the numbers are just overwhelming, and that's exactly that. Queenix knows he has to do something, otherwise he's just going to get overwhelmed. It's a nice idea. Again, look at the health on 3 of these remaining players. But at the end of the day, Salazar's going to have to save all the same.
Someone needs to check their smoke. Check their lineup. Because that landed up in the rafters and result. He had a monster day yesterday. And it's starting to spool up here already. Yeah, they just lose that initial opening pick. Krad just walks up B main, manages to force a good duel by the look of it. Takes down his adversary, and then from there, it's just dominoes. The rest of ECSTATIC feel like we need to push, we need a response, let's get aggressive, they flash through mid, Manx goes down, he did a lot of damage to be fair, but no kills, and a similar story with Cabby and towards the cave. It really cascaded after losing the first kill.
It feels like maybe this is the flip side of what we saw from them day one, right? Which is that their style, this aggressive takes, this fighting that they like to do, it works if you're brilliantly on point. But if you're not, well, we can quickly see in a situation where you're many rounds down, it's not exactly a conservative play style, shall we say.
I don't mind the reactions. We weren't on board, but if we had seen how Krad got the opening pick, I don't know what angle Kraken was playing, but it did feel a very early point in the round to be taking a straight up duel as a CT player on a rifle. So that'd be my main point of concern, I guess, so far. But yeah, this is starting to get a little bit scary. They'd also love to do some damage here. A couple kills would be great just to limit this terrorist economy, but it doesn't look very likely at the moment. And now there's also spotted another player. They don't need to fight into this. They can just exit into CT spawn if they like.
There's a gun. Can Manx beat the mid player? No. A little bit of a foot race there, but Result is so quick. Man, he's got his sneakers on, ready to go at any moment. Zorte is up to 10-2 already as well, which is kind of wild. Yeah, I mean, we certainly know he's a very capable opper, but it's a great sign, especially his T-sites opping on Anubis. Not always the easiest thing in the world to do. So, impressive. They're looking on point. Timeout's going to be taken here by ECSTATIC early on. This is something we didn't see them use so much in their previous games. I don't think they're playing with a coach, so it's up to the more experienced players on the roster to maybe call that, recognize when they need to stabilize and figure out an adjustment to the plan, and that's exactly what they're doing here.
Quick discussion. And they need to have it. Bit of a rough start. This is their map pick in the series. We'd favor forZe fairly heavily on a map like Inferno. So, need to make the most of this. Manx, Org in play. We love to see it. And in terms of what ECSTATIC should change, I don't think they need to change their early openings. I think that they're fine. I don't think they need to be super aggressive. I think they just need a discussion about mid-round how they react. Maybe speak to Krad quickly and ask how he lost that opening fight and what he can change for next time. And wow, Queenix, by virtue of lining up his own nade, eats 2 to the face.
Slower start to the round, you could say that. This appears to be the adjustment for ECSTATIC, not fighting just yet, though, Cabby. He's itching. Playing the pixel gap of that smoke and have to back away. And that's the difference.
It's a slow start because ECSTATIC's already used all their nades. They've got 1 molly and a few flashbangs. So it's not panic stations at all from forZe. They're winning the utility duel as it was at the moment. Flash into mid, Manx caught alone. Salazar moved at the worst possible time. And now it's getting super awkward. If they've got any nades to take out this route into Temple, it'd be a really easy cross. They're actually doing the jumping. Oh, it's so awkward. It's trying to get across this angle. Jerry, thankfully, takes down the A player, and now it gets very awkward for ECSTATIC.
Krad has so much control here. Salazar's rerouted. This should be a save, frankly, but they're not comfortable saving with the loss of that mid control, so they're going to stick around in towards heaven, see what they can get, and Kragan's going to die on the smoke fade. Another decisive round out for forZe, controlling the pace all the way. As soon as they find that first pick in towards mid, right, it's like a blazing neon sign that says you're going to have a soft day take. You just know if you take out that mid control, if you win those initial fights, if you pressure the opera back the other way, there's likely only 1 in A unless they're running a full gamble. So it's a great call. It's a great read from forZe. And no survivors.
I'd love to see Salazar more engaged. You just see they decided to leave Manx alone. Salazar comes off mid, and then Manx just has to commit fully to an off angle. Flashbang, of course, ensures his death. But if they had just walked in and been well spaced, it equally would have been a clean trade. And Salazar presented a couple opportunities as he rotates back in to cover off mid. But unfortunately, hasn't been hitting just yet today. And that's not something we saw last time from ECSTATIC on Anubis. That was against Aurora. And Salazar was destroying everyone, hitting every shot. Superb.
This round's already over, Alan.
Seems like it. Ace takes.
It's been probably the most, honestly, boring Anubis game I've watched the first 7 rounds ever. It's pretty rinse and repeat. ECSTATIC get a little aggressive. They lose the initial fight. forZe loads up a site and takes it against the light presence. Rinse, repeat so far. We haven't just, I mean, okay, so we've seen attempted B aggression from ECSTATIC. That's happened a lot of rounds. We had the 1 round where they got aggressive outside of A. That was a little spicy. But otherwise, I mean, they're just struggling to keep pace
In
right
terms
now.
of the
This
B
is
aggro, we've only seen
Cabby.
solo pushes. It's almost mainly been cave, isn't it? And just Cabby sort of trying to fight. Maybe they could put Salazar B and then walk out into B main if they don't see anything early. That could be an option. Equally A main, playing into there, getting aggressive, pushing through once Dark starts getting taken, Cave starts getting taken. That might be an option too. I'd like them to move away from... Mid isn't working out great so far, is it? They had the one round where they played too aggressively. That's when they flashed Manx through on the death of Dragon on B. And they had that last gun round where Manx commits in the corner and Salazar comes off. They need to find a more healthy middle ground between if they're going to stick around as two or are they going to get aggressive. It's all about picking the right timing.
This is a big round. I mean, yeah, it is one of the toughest parts of this map is that mid is so important. You really cannot give it up, but also mid is very difficult to hold aggressively as a CT. You kind of either need to bet the farm on it or not touch it. This is an interesting setup. This is a different one. Out towards A main. I don't mind this. The AWP playing off of Queenix as well. Or Queenix playing off of the AWP. But Salazar does need to be peeking. He's not the one playing anti-flash. He does get that kill. Queenix lives. So all's well that ends well. Kind of the opposite of how that setup is traditionally going to work, but it works out. Often you'll see the rifle playing anti-flash into the wall and the
Zorte?
AWP taking contact. Where was that?
He killed a player in
Mid?
Cave, right? Yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah.
body's here.
Yep, it was.
But it wasn't for a
Cabby
smoke
down.
brownie, so there must have been a slight gap.
Well, Cabby likes to throw the smoke in such a way that there's a tiny gap on the left side, and then he peeks it. So I think he finally got punished for that. Down to the 3-on-3. Positions known. Salazar, he's not burning somehow. They're going to think he is, and shalfey, that's a problem. The molly didn't go as deep as they were hoping. The bomb's now down. They'll have to commit more utility just to smoking him off. We know how deadly Salazar could be on this site. ECSTATIC wants to explode into the gap that he's left, but they know zorte's back pillar. They knew he had this position, and they don't seem to have the responsibility. They both swung to clear one player. They wanted to take out Jerry, but in doing so left themselves exposed, and Queenix now has a clutch on his hands. A clutch that they desperately need to get back into this game. Oh, back two. The 5-7 will be enough to escort him out of this round and into the next life.
Those early engagements. Of course, the one kill onto... I don't know how Cabby went down so easily to the AWP of Zorte.
He plays the gap. So there's you'll see it when he throws the left side, the smoke, he throws it just a little bit more to the right.
No, we saw
so
it earlier. It just feels...
I think zorte is just going to op it now.
I don't know. You're playing at a professional level. They're going to know... You need to show that once and they know what's happening.
Yeah.
You're going to get nades on you at best. And
look at what zorte is peeking now.
Yeah. I mean, Zorte feels like he's getting a lot of kills just on the defaults. It's not like he's getting into good late round afterplants and he's just absolutely destroying ECSTATIC. He's getting consistently 1 or 2 kills every round with a default, just punishing the aggression. And it's getting a little bit silly, I think, from ECSTATIC.
We got aggression outside of B main. We got a little bit of space taken here. He's setting up the CZ. Good flashbang. The second player, though, that's an overextension. That's a bridge too far. So, I mean, it's good impact out from the pistol, but the problem is you don't have too many pistols to make impact with. Only so many 1-for-1 exchanges you can make before you just don't have the numbers. And a 1-for-2, even less. Salazar stuck in heaven. This round, again, looking like one where you're just not going to have too many opportunities to actually get implicated into it. Good timing there from Krad. But ECSTATIC, I mean, they're running out of opportunities here. Silver lining? Well, what is the silver lining? This is ECSTATIC's pick. Am I not correct about that?
It is, yeah. It is the best map.
forZe opting to start T side, as it has become very much the dominant half traditionally on this map.
Not this dominant.
No, not like this.
I mean,
this hasn't been anything about being sighted, right? It's just that ECSTATIC are trying to initiate a ton of fights every round, and they're losing 4 out of 5 of them, I'd say. It's brutal.
It's been rough out here. It's been very rough, and this half already feels like absolute damage limitation. But it's trying to survive now from ECSTATIC.
It's similar to that Ancient game yesterday against Anubis, where it was, ECSTATIC's map pick. theoretically they should have been coming in with a plan, and they just didn't seem to be able to, you know, really even push Honoris off of their default most of the rounds, right? The side anchors were the ones that were killing them. It was Sobel and it was Lunatic on A or B on Ancient who just kept getting multi-kills to win the round, really before ECSTATIC even got into bomb sites. Now, I mean, we've got the side switch, but it feels like it's much the same. We get these aggro pushes, we get these ideas, we get these initiatives, and forZe holding in largely a default, not doing anything too creative or clever, are just able to best them. They haven't really been pushed into any sort of depth in their playbook. Here's going to be aggression out B main, and again, the first fight is lost. Krad at least will be traded here, but an equal trade in this situation very much plays into forZe's hands. Because now look at the spread. There's aggressive posturing taken by Cabby, and if they've figured out his tendencies at all, they're going to know he's going to keep pushing off of this. Queenix and Manx. All right, now it looks a whole lot better. These were all isolated fights on smoke fades, on individual pushes, but when it works, it works. There's a path toward this plant. Jerry just has to avoid getting caught by Cabby working his way all the way around. Zorte's got this information. Jerry's now aware. That's the one position he could give it up to, and he's going to be able to slip away. So a bomb plant's going down, and ECSTATIC aren't rotating at all. Now they're just investigating back in towards mid off of Cabby's info. But Zorte's deep in the temple. They can't let this round fall apart. Alan, they can't let this round fall apart. The health is low. There's no information about where these players are coming from.
Jerry's just committing to an angle. He's got to get a bit of luck here, I think, to select the right direction to look. You can see he's a little bit scared of B main. Now he's looking towards kind of the CT area. It's a real matter of timing, and with this HP, you're not getting a second chance if you're Jerry.
Queenix is the only kit. Queenix down. Kit's recoverable, though. Salazar, that's a good one. He's got the kit. He's got the time. Finally, they're going to get a second round on the board. But even then, 2 players survive. You're down to the last second defuse. This was a 5-on-3. 5-on-2? 4-on-2.
4v2?
4-on-2. 4v2.
4v2, I think.
Krad won the
Yeah.
first one. Yeah.
4v2.
I
4v2.
can't count this morning.
It still felt like a better round. At least the B push was with 2 players. It is a trade, which on most maps would be T-sided, but I don't think it's the end of the world on a map like Anubis. And it certainly made forZe more uncomfortable than they have been of late, which I guess was the main thing, is that they're feeling like, okay, we need to react. We need to find a gap or get some space, and then they fall foul to the individual plays. So a little bit more of that would be handy. These nades exchanged from either side. How much damage have they done this map?
A lot. But here's the rarest of things for ECSTATIC. A pick where they then fall away. They win the mid-exchange. Manx lives. No damage goes back the other way. And here we go, ECSTATIC. This is the way it's supposed to be looking. This is the way it's supposed to work. Cabby, resist your demons. Resist your demons. Don't do the pixel peek.
He's done it again.
He's throwing the smoke for it. But he's not going to fight off of it. Cabby about to get an episode
He
of My
thought
Strange
about it there.
Addictions.
He was
he
thinking
really
about
did.
it.
Oh. All right, Jerry.
It's more fun what he's doing now by throwing the smoke, having shown it earlier, and not actually using it. You kind of scare them a little bit, and they're so trained on waiting for that peak. It's a bit of mind games as we commit into K, but look at the HP bar on a few of these players. One
Look at the
M4
hold.
spray could do so much damage.
3 players ready to receive them. Manx coming into support from mid. That Molotov does not land where they hope. Not going to clear Glizzy at all. One exchange on picks. There's something doing here, but it's all going to come down to Zorte. He's had an incredible map, but he's out of time. He's out of chances. So he's going to back away and try and keep the op alive. Mans is 17-3.
Pretty wild. Pretty wild. Had that molly been well placed,
Yeah, it would have rumbled the whole setup.
I don't think there was a smoke between those two on Gliffy there. So they would have got really awkward. They've been flushed out wide in the open, attention to Zorte or one of the riflers. Past there was something going there, but either way, good entry from Manx. Looked like he was playing in and around a mid smoke and found a good timing. And from there, they just play standard sort of setup and abuse that advantage.
Jerry. Kraken. Not going to be able to bring that back. Now Jerry has just dismantled his B take himself. You win the fight on Cabby. You put the pressure on. Kraken tries to come in. But it's really just a fight, right? Utility can be so punishing for the player in towards cave, but I don't have it. They go for the duels instead, and now it's a save right off the rip. Queenix getting that kill. Make it easier, but they're out of position. They're not going to attempt this. ECSTATIC are going to give up double digits here in this first half.
You have to be so careful as the B players on this map to not give up an early kill, because you just leave your teammate out to dry. There's nothing they can do. Because in order to defend either of them, at least in a position where you could get off nades and hold it off, you have to be forward. As soon as you lose your teammate from the other side, you can't even back off. And it looks like Jerry swung off a noise cue, maybe hearing that smoke being thrown, and just catches a one-on-one, takes down Cabby, and Kraken, even if he had survived the initial onslaught from Jerry, I don't think he would have survived the players coming through B main. Wow, that's Anubis. It can crumble so fast on that B bomb site. Maybe we would do another pause. It's only been the one, right, from ECSTATIC?
I believe so.
Yeah. These rounds really matter. If you get 5 out of this half, you're still in an okay place. You're in a place where Win Pistol will get a reset, maybe. And it's still game. It's still game. Flash is good, but Result just about ducks himself behind those boxes on the right to prevent the death.
So it is going to deny the early control that forZe were looking for. And then towards mid, they found a fout as well onto the AWP, but shalfey's taking it. Salazar pushed off, a little timid. He's got Kraken with him now, but that means that Cabby's so alone here towards B, so Kraken can only stick around for a moment. He's got to go back. He knows his teammate needs help. Cherry on the smoke fade. Tries to get him again. Not going to happen here. Now 2 kills going the way of ECSTATIC. And here's where they build into a solid CT side. They're playing the buddy system, right? This is the adjustment. They're not really going for those individual peaks. When you see the fight, it's coming from the duos, especially in the early round, leaving Salazar to watch mid with that AWP. Oh, double pushing a B main, though. Krad could punish this. He's not quite going to be able to do so, and they're away.
It's a shame there's no one in canals to trap these players. Flashbang as well could do a lot of good, but I like this fight for Cabby. He's on the right eye. Krad still wins it. But Kraken's angle, very unexpected, and shalfey's got a lot to do on this flank with only 20 seconds left, and I think that clock dooms this round anyway.
Should do. I mean, damage is even useful just to soften them in the last round. Zorte will get one more. Is it going to be limiting? Maybe a touch. Nothing substantial. One more round for ECSTATIC to try and salvage this. I mean, 4 isn't an impossible comeback for sure. They've looked a lot more cohesive in these last few in terms of the way that they're playing. They've adjusted to some of what forZe is doing. They've avoided giving up those early picks for free. But it's still a big task they've set for themselves. Utility down mid, that denies the early control, the early peak for zorte that he was looking for. Now you've got this setup out towards A main.
What's the impetus?
Yeah,
What's the information there?
I don't know.
I don't think there was a noise cue. I don't think there was a noise cue, and it's just cost them 2 frags because Salazar feels like he has to take a wider angle.
And if he's gonna go for that peak, why doesn't Salazar throw a flash or something for him? You've got the double man setup, play together. Even if you want to go aggressive, play together. Even if they double swing that with the AWP and the rifle, it's tough to take down both. As it is now, they're stacking the A site, anticipating that this is where it's going to come through, but it's the 2v5, and they've just given up a bomb site for free. forZe has this one however they want it. Now the puppet master. And Manx, well, he's going to try and cut his strings. Hi, Kraken. Desperation there, and shalfey will take that every day of the week. We'll see ya in just a minute.
fly above. We go off in the night. We live in the red lights. No, I need you to see right, but we go low.
I'm a wall of danger, and I'm addicted to the wild and nature. If you give me your heart, I'll break it. I've been known to lie, I've been known to lie.
And we're back in. 11-4 is the scoreline. ECSTATIC looking a little out of their depth once more on their own map pick. forZe very much ready for them. And they're aggressive and need to get started well here in the second half. That's bold from Krad, and it's going to cost them. 2 players dropped in towards mid. A very ambitious setup to try and punish Canals. Instead, sees them on the wrong end of it. And now A is vacant. Molotov will delay that, try and allow the rotation through CT. Result's got a flank, but if they just move in towards A, there's very little that forZe can do to deny this. Very little, I say. That little is named Jerry.
Still feels like he needs one more. And the flank actually doesn't develop into anything because they're just coming from mid instead. 2 players left. It's going to take some huge mistakes from ECSTATIC if they just play off each other and peek off the back of their teammates. It should be all too easy. There it is. 4 alive. That was brutal. Those mid fights early on. I'm not even sure the forZe players got off any bullets. Seemed to hit the deck immediately.
Cheeky Uspis set in towards mid. Might catch Cabby. Might. He's showing a remarkable amount of restraint, though, for Cabby. Chilling all the way back here. Wary of this potential trap, this potential pitfall. So we'll see when they pick around. There's no flashbang for this. But Cabby's going to come test them. Oh, he might be getting a real surprise. They've got full A control. Here's the swing. They've caught Cabby. They want that rifle, and they're going to get 2. That's the whole point of this setup. Now the question is, do they bring the rifles in to try and win the round, or do they play hide to Galil? Might play contain here. Keep the players bottled up towards the site. See if they can't get them to go up with the bomb. Some options here for forZe.
It's a tricky one for ECSTATIC because I don't think they'll know to exit into CT. I guess now Salazar's clearing. Well, that's cool to his teammates. You're so scared of players being up on the CT, you know, how it's a platform and above. You're so scared to round out there because there's good jewels for the CTs. So, they might still meet some forZe resistance and lose more guns yet.
I like how Jerry is the most conservatively postured player and he's got the USB. But okay, 2 guns make it out. I mean, that's a very successful USP round. About as much as you could want here, Alan, other than, you know, killing them all and winning the round.
We can only dream. We can only dream. It feels very good to win those USP rounds, I'll tell you that. When it comes through, was there actually a window to AWP here? I think, Krad probably could have dropped, I think, to save Galil. But would have been low at nadish for him. We get a double cave start, bit of spamming, but not a whole lot else. And I think an immediate difference I'm seeing from the off is that forZe's choosing to be reactive with their nades early on, not dropping them straight away. Look at this, Mank straight through. But where's the backup? Players behind that B main smoke need to go. Cabby is taken low, but he still finds an angle somehow. And now man advantage and the B bombs are over for business.
This might just turn into a save. You'd actually imagine it would. forZe, the luxury those 2 Khalils brought in is there's a little bit more capital on 2 of these players. So if you keep these 3 guns up, you got something to work with and they're backing off. They've got a huge cushion of rounds. They don't need to force the issue right now. They don't need to push the issue right now. So Zorte will inspect the beans. I don't know if you've noticed this, Alan, but there are a lot of beans on Anubis. Everywhere you see like a basket full of something, the texture is just beans. It's all beans.
I didn't think Egypt was that known for growing beans myself.
Beans. Well, I mean, legumes are like one of the oldest cultivated foods. I'm sure they had some form of legume in ancient Egypt.
They did corn, right? It's corn and wheat.
No, corn is a New World crop.
This is strange, Mike, because I was certain for years it was wheat and barley they grew.
They did grow wheat and barley, yeah.
But then somebody said somewhere that it was corn.
They don't.
And since then, I've been like, is this correct information?
100% incorrect. Maize comes from the New World.
That's what I thought.
Someone was lying to you with their whole
I think
face.
I saw that in the British Museum, you know.
Well, you can't trust them for anything.
Because I don't think I would have believed it unless I saw it somewhere reasonably official.
Let's see, what was cultivated in ancient Egypt? Barley was a big one.
I'm sure it was wheat. I
early...
thought wheat was the main one because they shipped it all to Rome, didn't they?
Maybe. I know they were one of the early beer brewing cultures from barley.
This is what we need to know.
You know where I know most of my Egyptian agricultural knowledge is from the game Pharaoh. Great game. Excellent game. Top
Do you
tier.
play as the Pharaoh by a long shot?
Well, basically, it's a city builder, right? I think eventually you become the pharaoh in the course of the campaign, but it's basically an ancient Egyptian city builder, and it is excellent. You have to like build monuments, you have to appease the gods, you have to maintain, you know, structures and things for your folks, and really top-notch old school city builder. I think they recently remade it, or did like a revamp, but I don't know. I saw mixed reviews for the revamp, so maybe just buy the 90s one. I know there's an available port. Kraken. Get a port result right to the 90s himself. Shalfey's now take this Molotov, but he somehow still gets the kill, commits to dying. And I don't know if that commitment was quite worth it, but he felt like he had to do something here in towards mid. And let's see if Jerry can retake the space. He'll retake the gun at least. Utility sailing over for this mid control. Still 12 bullets in. Salazar's post on the angle, but it's utility shown. Cabby's low. This could actually work out beautifully for Jerry. Does he expect Cabby on the left side? No, not at all. Cabby gets the last laugh, and now major pressure. They're in the right spot, are these 2 forZe players, but 2-on-4. Where's the rally going to be? Oh, they're just going to leave.
Oh, they do actually have time to go back all the way to A But
That's
have
the
they
right
got the
call.
foresight to kind of realize what's going on here?
Cabby's got some control, right? They have to know that there's the threat for the canals rotation. There's the threat for mid based on what Cabby's postured on. He's not even fighting them
I think they're
necessarily.
still ending B.
I don't know.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah, it's a canal drop. All right. Misread. Misread. Tried to fake it out. Bit of a miscue. Now they don't have time to adjust. They have to come into these players. And, uh-oh, starting to look a little disastrous here, Alan. The reposition, but Salazar is good for it. Salazar and Queenix make it happen. 2 HP on Queenix as well. That one got very close. to
Salazar's
disaster.
heating up because he was bottom of the scoreboard for quite a lot of that CEC half. So he has ramped himself into this T side. T side opening seems to be the order of the day at the moment. But yeah, it's a hard one to mid round because the rotate's really long if you're all the way up B long, and then have to go back through mid to A or something. So even though you had the info that was 1B, and there were only 2 alive as they put the smoke down, it's not necessarily the easiest to make a move off the back of it. This time though, ECSTATIC intentions are very obvious. All 5 primed and ready to hit A.
Flash breaks over. Very straightforward play. Shalfey's going to come back into support, but a lot comes down to Result. Dancing around the cake. First pick goes their way. Now, that first alpha utility gone. They can start to pick through, but there's the trades. Even. Stevens, no Manx. Not looking much in terms of the healthy department. We're going to get the retake on. This is going to be a commitment from forZe. It's been their best chance in a very, 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 very long time, and the utility's just about gone for this T side. A lot comes down to Queenix. Does he get this pick on Jerry? Does he win this duel? He does indeed. Does he expect the second? Yes. Yes, he does. Queenix is good for it. And Zorte will be forced to back away.
It felt like a rough angle. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess as you come out, it's a bit hard to know which way to look when you're the CT. But I would have thought you'd prioritize the left because there's no corner to play in on the right. But yeah, first kill's good. Spacing wasn't there from forZe. They weren't ready to trade each other, and Queenix has a field day. Simple counter strike straight into it. The A pop, and it was a pretty good call because there's only one on the site at the time as they went in. They were just scrambling with forZe to get some sort of smokes down to buy a bit of space, and the rotates were a long way out.
Jerry. Ooh, Jerry. Is this heard from Cabby? Not quite sure how much of an audio cue he gets here. I think they've got some sort of information, but Jerry's got so much canals control. This is going to embolden his B players. They don't have to check cave. They even are because they're diligent. But now look at this. Manx holding. Manx wins it. That's massive early on. We actually saw Kragan previously playing from this kind of carpet side position to hold in aggressive pushes when they played Anubis previously. With that pick, now they've very much opened up the entire map, and we see aggression coming through further. Zorte finds one, but look at this duel. Result, aggressive. Manx trying to hold this. Does he check to his left? Because he's going to make an audio cue here. No, he doesn't. Silent drops. Result has no idea.
Bomb.
That's... Oh. He's away. He's away. All good.
It's okay, guys. It's okay. We made it. And
That's dead. Everyone's gone.
What's
Just
going on
off
there
the-
in mid?
Oof.
Well, it was just a half by round the saves, but it got a little bit exciting.
That's
If
6
Jerry
rounds
wins
off
that
the
fight,
rip.
the round looks very different.
Still 6 rounds in a row for ECSTATIC to build back into this game. We're understanding why they like Anubis.
Yeah, this was 9-1 for forZe at the start. Only a couple since then. So ECSTATIC looking very nice now. Money's good. They're on the stronger side. Winning a heap of rounds of late. And all eyes on forZe because now we're starting to ask questions of them. Can they adapt? Are they going to keep falling foul to the simple hits from ECSTATIC and not giving information? 3B start from forZe, but they're seeding that in the end. Zorte's back off to mid. Play with Shalfey. And again, A is left a tad exposed as it's just Result on his own.
Nice shelfie. Been a while since we've had an opening pick actually for forZe. Result spots, but he pulled off the angle. He got timinged a little bit, trying to turn away from a flashbang, not realizing what he had seen. Now the site is lost, and this is a great position for ECSTATIC. Despite losing that opening pick in towards mid, now they got a very strong defense, and forZe are all going to be bottlenecked into basically fighting from the same direction. Utility denied. Smokes up. A very hard retake for forZe. They have an A kit. Seems like they're going to go for it. Well, the first pick traded. They start to cement this. Smokes in further up. shalfey doesn't want this. And zorte likewise is going to try and back away. Knows he's going to be under pressure. Knows he's going to be under pressure. Has to know that a hunt is coming. Gone around the first hurdle. How far do you want to push against this AWP? Not that far.
Still a great result. Still a great result. I know it didn't go great for a result, did it? It's a real shame. It's a real shame because once they cleared mid, forZe, they knew it was none mid. They knew it was a bit of a fake, that smoke coming out onto the temple route. And as long as if result could have just stayed alive for let's say 2 or 3 seconds, they're free A because those mid players know there's nobody there. And they can just move into A instead. Just it's a bit of a shame they couldn't quite combine it all together. And I guess that's been the story of the CT side. Just not quite harmonious. The machinery isn't clicking together as it should.
Oh, we're learning here. Temple of Ra.
The no picture
Really
seems a
enjoy
bit
Ra.
extreme.
I enjoy, well, you know, the flash will harm the ancient stones that have survived millennia. Oh, aggression here. That smoke was a bit wide, and it's getting weird. It's getting spicy, and it's getting favorable for ECSTATIC. Krad, though, drops the bomb. Krad, doing it all. Salazar brings it back to an even situation, but Krad's going hunting, and Salazar's ready for him. Continuing a steady climb up the board. Salazar has been great since the half switch. Now shalfey. This is the best opportunity forZe have had this half. Really. shalfey. If you could pull off this clutch. Gives him another breath of life. Cabby's worked his way around the obelisk. shalfey's not ready for this. Shadow betrays it, but just a quick peek from Cabby and it's over. ECSTATIC have pulled into the lead flawless since the half switch for 8 in a row.
Getting out of hand. When you start asking questions of forZe, saying where are these pauses to slow the game down?
They just took
That was
one.
yeah, they need one. They need one. They need one badly. There's such a massive opportunity here for a 2-0. If they could just capitalize on their massive T side. But the CT is just been a bit of a mess so far. When do they start making drastic changes to these approaches? Fairly standard opening for the moment. Zorte's flipped onto playing A as the main adjustment. Because, of course, results lost a couple opening duels towards that side. And we'll see how this round develops. That's the only real change so far.
Gives them additional focus in towards mid, right? Result playing with shalfey instead of just the one. But if you're not going to take aggression off of that, I don't know how much it buys you. Depends, obviously, on what ECSTATIC choose to do, but at least for the moment, they're waiting to see if a response comes through from forZe, to see if there's some sort of an aggro play Salazar can capitalize on.
Actually going to give up mid, despite they haven't been pushed back B. They haven't used their nade sets over there just yet. And obviously, Zorte's seen nothing on A yet. And their reaction is to flip into a double A main setup. At least for a few seconds. Mid is seeded though. And these A players need to make a decision. They need to pick where they're going to fight into. Because they should be a little bit scared of getting split. For the moment though, ECSTATIC hauling the bomb back. They look caught in 2 minds to me. I really thought they were going to A split there.
It's a B split. It's a B split. It's the drop down in towards canals. They're hoping they've brought off the rotator. And they have indeed. There's still utility here. There's still pressure on. Lots of damage from the flames, but it's well worth it. They're happy to pay that price. Manx will give himself up for control of the site every day of the week, and Krad in position to punish the rotations back in. zorte missing that shot means he just has to save. It's another brutal round for forZe where they just can't really get stuck into things. And I mean, it's felt like that's the entire half, right? So many rounds where they just can't get stuck into it. Even if the initial exchange goes their way, ECSTATIC are phenomenal at punishing the positioning. And this round, that heavy mid presence, the utility in towards controls the rotations, because forZe gets so panicked about the fact that they won't be able to rotate in towards A that they rotate and float the third player. And then the sucker punch comes in. Speaking of sucker punches, Cabby.
It was a great round. Such a good round from ECSTATIC. That was probably the best round of the map. It was very calm. And, you know, if I'm struggling to read their call, I've got all the information. forZe, seeing all the map control they've lost, seeing all the nades, they would have been almost certain that was an A split as the nades are flying over. And I don't know, I've really enjoyed these rounds of using mid from ECSTATIC and then dropping down into canals really fast off some A nades. And then splitting B super quickly because it seems to be continually catching these two B players from forZe off guard. Check out the buy from forZe. Shalfey and Krad, full ports. Results and Jerry thought this was a half buy. It's not all harmonious in their camp at the moment, and the buy alone proves that.
Look at that smoke. Kraken's gonna wait here because he knows what a gap he's got. Russian outside of B main, getting spicy with it. No one punished just yet. There comes the kill. Kraken. Oh, just solo taking this site. Had a player behind him to even potentially trade, but Manx isn't needed. So the bomb is going down. The site is lost. All that aggressive B main control just means they're further away onto the rotate. Jerry's stuck. You can't go through with this.
Is this 10 in a row now? 10 OT side?
Yes. Yeah, 10 in a row.
And because of their mixed bag buy here, they have to save rifles because a couple of the guys just don't have money. They don't have the money to buy again in the next. Oh, it's crumbled.
Poison for forZe, it feels like, because the base defense on either side can't hold. Look, this round there's pistols, there's limitations, but we have not seen a successful just, okay, we've got two on the site hold yet. And because of that, because ECSTATIC feel like they can take either at will, they're just so good at manipulating the presence, right? So forZe feel like they have to go for something. This round it's B main aggression, and while they're doing that, they're losing elsewhere.
I think at the top level, the map is moving in the direction of... It's a bit like CT Inferno, where everyone kind of understands that if you're late round with low nades, you've got to kind of take a gamble as CT. You've got to push somewhere or load up a site. And so far, forZe have been unwilling to do that. And as you're mentioning, when they're just playing 2-1-2, they can't hold these sites. They haven't held them in a single round. So I question at what point do we just start playing 3B, lean that way for a round, play 3-1-1, commit to it, maybe play 2 on A, and then the mid player leans towards the A side of the map, and you play, I don't know, retake B. At some point, you got to throw caution to the wind because nothing's working.
Alright, caution might be named zorte. He's got the bomb, so that means it's going to be a commitment in towards the B site, and for once, there's actually numbers up here for forZe. shalfey connects the next. Push from cave. This is effective. shalfey making some noise here. Salazar. Damage would be helpful as well. It seems like this crazy run may have finally come to a close, but if they can make it costly, if Salazar can find one more, still a tough pill to swallow for forZe. Salazar peeking around to giving nothing. They know how important this next frag is. Gonna reload on. Get another crack at this. Admire the zorte stickers. Yeah, this is a really nice craft, zorte. Now let me see if I can kill you with it.
So who's taking contact for the CTs? They should be waiting for zorte just to peek as Salazar crosses. shalfey's... Okay, in this angle, it should be okay. And he goes for it. 3 alive. They'll take it for sure. Zorte first kill, shalfey nearby. Collects a couple. It's a bit of a mess, but certainly looks a lot better than the last few rounds.
I'm amazed they don't pick up that secondary up, Alan. A lot of top-end teams have experimented with the double up on Anubis just because of how important it is to control those site fights. And forZe just, I don't think we've seen them pick up the double up. I think Krad played with it on Overpass?
Yeah, it would be Krad. It would be Krad.
So that would actually make sense. He's your B player, right?
Results
Give
B,
Krad the up.
Krad's the mid B player. Sorry, the mid A player.
Okay.
But he could do that and then swap with result. It should be an option.
Yeah. It's definitely something that doesn't seem to be in their quiver right now. Kabi finds one. Krad holds the line, but he's got to do more. And he's so low. He's so low. They know the pressure's on. The Molotov there, but zorte comes in time. Kabi getting locked into his one solo fight. Still come out at 3-on-3, so it still favors ECSTATIC, but it's far from as bad as it could have been for forZe. Still, look at how spread this defense is now. They're adjusting to defend A, predicting that to be the hit, but it doesn't seem like that's coming. Instead, it's going to be pressure on for Jerry.
Even so, I think I prefer these chaotic rounds for forZe. At least there's a window. You can make something happen individually. Jerry, alone on this side of the map. zorte's coming over, but these smokes are going to take him out of damage, and it's all on Jerry. He goes down immediately to Queenix. And now zorte's praying for some lucky spams, because that's the only route back into this round, I think.
Money's going to be an issue as well. That's just the demon that haunts you, but you're just running out of opportunities to make a game of this. They don't have the utility. They just got to do it with their guns. If ECSTATIC don't give them a peek, there shouldn't be much opportunity to do anything with this result. We're going to move forward. Footsteps coming in from the other. That distracts enough to pull Queenix on the obelisk. ECSTATIC, very careful. Just wanted to play the clock here. Result!
Oh my God.
Dynamic then. So it's all on to Salazar. They know where he is. He's trying to bait the op shot. They're just going to stick it and go for the defuse. Oh, can't even pull off of this. zorte holds the line, and that is just going to see forZe squeak through.
They needed that so badly. What a retake. What a retake, especially from the young man. Huge plays. And I think ECSTATIC, they'll watch that back in the demo and they'll say, how is the player trapped behind the pillar planting? How is he first contact to a player walking in? We had an AWP out on B long. Maybe could have held an angle, crossing to the site, and then they play off each other. Kragan again is tucked into cave, and he can't help his teammate. ECSTATIC playing every man for themselves, and for once in this half, they don't win the duels. It's getting very close again. It's getting very close again after forZe had a shocker start here on the defense. Finally whittled down that money. It has certainly not been pretty. That round, of course, was a disadvantage that they turned around. The one before was just a mess of lead going through smokes on that B-bomb site. Those fingernails are digging in just enough to hold them on the ledge.
Still slipping, though. Still slipping. Does feel so tentative, right? Result gonna get aggressive. He's super alone here, and based on what we know from Result, you might just want to take it that extra step further. Kragan's watching for this, so it would be a bad idea, but think better of it. Discipline, flashbang, the pressure. You know somebody's here. Heavy lean
out.
towards B. There's
Yeah,
nothing mid
mid-nades
right
are
now,
out.
Alan.
And of course, forZe can't see mid right now, so they're really enticed to react. Result does. Kragan down. Man advantage, a bit of info that more players are in canals, but they're still a little bit scared of mid, and that's why Krad's come off to hold.
Shalfey, you can see on the platform on A, he's also watching to make sure that they can't get that A split. So they do have contain on mid. It's just a very passive contain. It seems like with this group up in towards Canal, they might want to try and deal with the player that they know, and Salazar goes forth and finds exactly that. That's a great pick to open things
Oh,
up. Cabby,
no.
he got that space in mid. That's the problem with playing passive. If you try and get back in for the rotates, you don't know how far up they've gotten. So now pressure onto A. It all has to be Shalfey. He has to come up huge here for his team playing off of the pillar. And he's not going to be able to do that at all. At least they clear out mid, but that might just help zorte save.
It's a catastrophe. It is a catastrophe. After result gets them a miracle entry.
To me, Alan, this is another round that's really impressive for ECSTATIC. Because you lose that opening pick, you change the pace massively. You wait, you show patience, you're really slow if you're Cabby on taking that mid control, which winds up working out beautifully for them. I like this one. This was a read and react round for ECSTATIC. It was nicely done. It's going to net the map point. One more needed of the next two.
These A setups have been a real problem for forZe. I feel like that's why result they reflashed in for another peek. He gets trapped on the other side, and then Salazar's holding. I feel like he wants these fights because they just feel like if they play two rifles on the bomb site, they just can't hold it. They feel like they have to fight into A main and try and take Jules there before it comes to the site proper. And this time it costs them. Oh, they're out of breathing room. At least the buy here is okay, but the gun rounds on this defense have not inspired us with confidence. It is at 11-2 in this half for ECSTATIC. After being down, was it 9-1 at the start of this game? Quite a reversal.
Quite a reversal indeed. Contact him come in here. This one's massive. Result, good for it. Was a trade, but the hold's still on. And Shalfey, meanwhile, gets a timely push. Result can't hang on. But look at this. They're completely isolated on either side of the map. Salazar's position, is it going to be red? No. Not really. Jerry did not expect it to be out. And now, this is chaos. This is pandemonium. forZe does not know where to hold because they don't know where to go. Oh, Kraken, you can't die here. You can't die here. They're going to pressure on. This was the opportunity, but he slips away. That's masterful. Call the man Houdini. He's not going to get all the way away, though, and now they have the bomb to play off of.
Yeah, real shame Salazar wasn't near to help his teammate. It's just the way the round unfolded. 45 seconds to get to the bomb from T-spawn. Somehow force decent duels against these players and get the bomb down.
If he gets one more pick, it's worth it, but it's a tight angle against Shalfey. It's just a question of which way Shalfey oh, he had it. He just double take. Oh, didn't quite realize what he'd seen. The old spin off. Oh, crap. Spin back.
They could have really used the plant. Kragan and Queenix going to be on Galil's at best. forZe are starting to make this compelling. They're definitely getting more individually aggressive in these rounds as we go along. You can tell.
Well, it's do or die here for ECSTATIC.
Give this man a flash. Give him a flash.
Nope.
Was he just playing for noise?
Sniper of a nade.
It's bold stuff to start 3B with the amount of rounds they've lost mid. And then we had a couple A rounds earlier on as well from ECSTATIC. There's a lot of guts to lean free right now.
Looking like A round is going to be the case again. Result's going to be under pressure. He has Shalfey here to set him up potentially with utility. There's the flashbang for the peak, but no one's given him anything.
Yeah, they need to learn their flashbang angles as well. That one did nothing.
They're going to molly this position. Result's in trouble. Touch it, nade in. Now there's a Molotov. He doesn't have a smoke for this. He's going to go. He's blinded. He's blinded.
No.
He's dead to the molly. Result. You got to get out of there as soon as that molly comes through. He knows he'd have a fight, but there's the opener. That's what they were looking for. Aggression outside to be made. If Krad can win this duel, that's the bomb. But he can't, so he backs away. Damage on the Kreenix. Not going to be decisive, and this is where ECSTATIC thrive, right? They've got the man advantage now. They've got this mid control on Cabby. They can start to manipulate these rotations, and now look at this. They picked the soft site. They've done such a good job of this here on Anubis. They've got the read. They've got the weak in sight. And they're going to put pressure onto Krad on this smoke fade. He's overwhelmed. It's done. 2 kills coming in. Cabby controlling mid as well. Now they've pinched through Temple. What do you even do if you're Jerry? You have to fight forward. That leaves everything, an impossible task on the shoulders of shalfey. He doesn't even know how to get started. He's just begging, hoping for an overextension so he can at least get a frag and let him back into this game. He's out on the beach. But at this point, he might need a beach vacation to recover from this absolute battering they've had in the second half. shalfey will creep forward. He's out of time already. Doesn't have a kit. I mean, taking so much time with this, he just has no opportunity to actually win this round. I don't even think a kit's down towards sight. So this one is over. But shalfey, he will get one more number on an impossible task and one he won't attempt. Gotta save in that last round, folks. Keep those stats healthy. It's 16-14 for ECSTATIC. What a recovery on their own map pick here of Anubis.
It was stunning. The CT side was full of, let's say, ill-advised aggression. I think would be the nice way to put it. But on that T side leans itself to those plays more. You can take space individually; it's not a problem. You're allowed to take one-on-ones if you can just, you know, if you win it, it's just so enormous for all the chaos you're creating. And that T side was so on the same page.